What clicked for Christian Watson in his rookie season? Here from the rising sophomore of the Green Bay Packers and potential star. Plus, Jalin Hyatt on being maybe the fastest man in college football. And we hear from Aidan Hutchinson, an NFC North rival, on what it was like to intercept Aaron Rodgers, his first interception ever. All of that from Radio Row for Locked On Packers starts right now.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet. And the show for fans who know what happened. They want to know why and how. We have an absolutely outstanding show for you today. Christian Watson, Packers superstar rookie receiver, on the show, talking about things he needs to work on, what clicked for him, all kinds of great stuff. We also have Jalin Hyatt, an interview that I hoped we could bring to you yesterday, but we are going to have for you today. We talked about what it would be like to potentially play for the Green Bay Packers, and then someone who played against the Green Bay Packers. Pepsi Rookie of the Year, Aidan Hutchinson, talks about his first ever interception, first ever in his playing career. All of that is right now. We're here, Super Bowl Radio Row in Phoenix, Super Bowl 57, the Chiefs and the Eagles. I'm here with Green Bay Packers receiver Christian Watson. And Christian, second half of the season, it seemed like things started to, I don't know if it was slow down or what was the difference for you as you really took off in this Packers offense?
I think for me, it was really just kind of setting myself free and letting go of, the ups and the downs of the past and kind of just, having that confidence level, rise and just keep it where it was at. I think once I was able to play free and then, just do my thing and just be the player that I knew I could be, I think it was kind of wraps at that point. For me, it was really just getting that confidence level up and just, regardless of, the outcome of, any play, any practice, just knowing that, I can do this and, I can compete against these guys and just go forward and just be me.
I hate to do this to you, but I talked to your mom, and she said Christian would never admit it, but what happened in week one, that first play, it had to have affected him. I know it affected him. I'll ask you flat out, how did it affect you?
For me, it was more so just it was a play that I obviously knew I could make. A play that I had made hundreds, maybe thousands of times in my life. Whether that's practice or just just throwing the ball around. That was pretty much pitch and catch at that point. Wide open. Free touchdown for me. For me, I was really just disappointed in myself because, that was obviously, my debut. Obviously want to show the world who I am. I don't think that's, who I am. So, that was obviously, tough to start that way.
I think it's easier to see in the NBA when a guy has a rookie season and he goes, all right, I'm gonna get in the lab in the offseason, I'm gonna add this to my game, I'm gonna add this to my game. When we come back the next year and we see, oh, he's got that turnaround jumper now, he's got that post game now. I think it's harder in football because we don't always see it in obvious ways. What do you feel like you need to add to your game to get it to where you want to be?
For me, I think it's just a few nuances, in my route running and creating separation. I want to focus on the beginning and the end of my route. That's releases, and then just creating separation. Keeping my shoulders square. Running down the field, tracking the ball. And then just consistency with catching. Regardless of how many or how good you are at catching, there's always room to improve. Just make it kind of like clockwork. For me, the jugs machine is going to be huge. And then just working on those releases and just finding more ways to create separation down the field.
Late in the season, we saw you more in the slot, and a lot of time as the third man in on a trip side. What does that allow you to do, and what does that bring to the Packers offense?
I feel like it just opens things up a little bit more. It makes them have to bring more guys out to cover everybody. Obviously from the 3 or the 2 spot. Obviously there's more crossing routes that I could be doing. Taking the top off the middle. I just think that it is able to open me up in ways. Creating mismatches. Whether that's a linebacker. Hopefully obviously that's the plan every time if you get a linebacker on me. But whether that's a safety, nickel. Versus obviously having those speedier, more technical guys on the outside. And I feel like it just opens things up for our offense a little more.
So early in the season, you were playing when you before the injury. You were playing, but it seemed like a limited role, a lot of jet sweeps and a lot of clear outs where you're not the number one option. But then Aaron Rodgers, he goes on TV and says, Christian's open. I'm watching the tape. He's getting open. Unfortunately, you have the injury, but then you come back and it's like, okay, now he's going to be a major part of the offense. And Matt LaFleur says in a press conference, we think Christian can do everything that he needs to in this offense. Did something change, do you think? Did you feel a difference between the first half and the second half of the season, whether it was in practice or whatever it was?
I think for me, it was more so just building that confidence up with 12 and the coaches and my teammates. Obviously I didn't participate in training camp and missed out on a lot of reps to build that confidence up and kind of have that, camaraderie with the guys. I think as I was able to, get more reps with 12 and get more reps in the offense, I was able to obviously, show everybody who I was and the type of player I was and the plays that I was able to make. Once that confidence was there in me, I think I got a lot more opportunity.
How did you notice defenses changing? Because if you look at the numbers, a lot of cover one in the middle of the season. Christian Watson gets out there and he scores 3 touchdowns against Dallas. All of a sudden, that cover one number comes way down. That single high safety number comes way down. How did you notice defenses changing the way that they defended your offense when you were out there?
We just saw a lot more shell, a lot more too high stuff, or a lot more of that, cloud to boundary or field, wherever our strength of the offense was, or wherever I was at. I just obviously saw certain things open up a lot more for whether that was other guys or in the run game, and I think that helped our offense quite a bit. The more that people have to defend, obviously, the more that it's going to be open. You're going to create more one-on-one matchups or more mismatches.
I know that the answer that you're supposed to give is it doesn't matter to me. I'm just going to catch from whoever I get the ball from. But do you have to be paying attention to what's going on with the quarterback situation in Green Bay, because it's a big deal? I think it's a big deal for sure. Obviously, love Jordan. I think he's a great player. And I also love 12, and I would obviously love to continue playing with him. But obviously that's obviously I tap into it every now and then if there's some truth to what's being said on the social media, and not just opinions or assumptions. But at the end of the day, that's above me. So I'm just going to control what I can control and work on myself this offseason, and whatever unfolds. All right, Christian, just you and me. Forget about the camera. Who's going to be the quarterback?
So, like I said, that's above me. It's above me. I have no clue. I'm just doing me.
All right, last thing. Do you set goals every year? Or are you the kind of person that's like, okay, I want to get to 1,000 yards. I want to get to X number of touchdowns. Do you have goals for 2023?
I don't have specific numerical goals. My number one goal is to just take a step up from where I was at last year. And that's in every aspect. I want to be able to prove that I'm better in every way. So obviously that'll come with more opportunities, more catches, more yards, and more touchdowns. So we'll see. I just want to be leaps and bounds better than I was previously.
And you want to be at the Super Bowl, not on Radio Row.
That's very true. Yes, sir.
Let's talk about today's episode being sponsored by our friends at Blue Nile. Valentine's Day is coming, which means romance is in the air even more than normal. I don't need to tell you all that, Valentine's Day is for lovers. You probably had your date plans on the calendar for weeks, but have you found the perfect Valentine's Day gift yet? Whether you're celebrating this day of romance or whether you're ready to pop the question, you can find jewelry as unique as they are with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Find the perfect piece of jewelry for life's special moments or create the custom engagement ring of their dreams. Blue Nile experts provide guidance, in-depth educational materials, and unique online tools that place you in control so you can forget the usual hassle of jewelry shopping experiences and processes and focus on the good stuff. Right now, you can save up to 50% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com for up to 50% at BlueNile.com. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at TurboTax. I use TurboTax for a long time, and I use a ton of Intuit products all across. I have my own business, and so I'm constantly using these products to make sure that I'm staying on the right side of all the tax laws, because if there's one thing I know, you do not want to mess with the tax man. TurboTax has experts who can help you relieve the stress of taxes and file for you so you can do not taxes. With TurboTax, an expert will do your taxes from start to finish, ensuring your taxes are done right, guaranteed, so you can relax. Feels good to be done with your taxes, doesn't it? Come to TurboTax and don't do your taxes. Visit TurboTax.com to learn more. Intuit TurboTax full service products only. Video meetings while experts does your taxes is required. See guaranteed details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Out here at the Super Bowl Radio Row, it is the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl 57. But after the Super Bowl, we got the NFL draft coming up. Jalin Hyatt, the Biletnikoff Award winner, and I was talking to some friends about this interview and what I should ask you. And I have a friend who's a big fan of yours. And so he said, the one question I have to ask you is, what does it feel like to fly?
Yeah, it feels very, very good. Very good to go out there and just do what you got to do, man. So I enjoy it. Trust me.
So I watched you take apart an Alabama defense that is full of five-star defensive backs. Do you have when you get up for and Georgia too, those games when you know you're going up against the elite of the elite, how does your mindset change, if at all, when you're like, okay, I know that these guys are just as big, just as fast as I am?
It brings out, a little more, especially when you're in the SEC. You're going against the best conference, best defenses, not only that, the best players. So it always brings out the extra in me, and just blessed to be a part of, our team, the Tennessee team, and blessed as far as what everything has happened, for sure.
So when you're out there, you played a lot in the slot.
Yep.
And the question that NFL teams are going to have is, can he play on the outside? Can he get off press? Yep. So just walk me through. All right, you've got a corner outside pressed up. Let's call him Kaylee Ringo.
Okay.
What is your plan at the line of scrimmage? Like, okay, I got to get by this guy.
Yeah, obviously you want to get him off the line. You got to make a move. And if I'm going left, make him go right. If I'm going right, make him go left. And only that, be quick, be physical. Ringo's a physical guy, big corner. So you got to be physical with him. And not only that, he can't shy away from contact. And at the same time, you got to be decisive. You got to be decisive in your routes. Got to have elite ball skills. So when the ball does come, and let's say he is on you or on your back, got to make sure you can make the catch. So there's a lot of factors that play into it. But like I said, it's just the offense that we ran. I've been around. I played against press. It's not like I never seen it. I do practice and do practice releases. I do practice a lot of things. So, I'm just blessed to be in this position I'm in. But at the same time, I'm ready for the opportunities that's coming in the future. And like I said, with press and everything, that will come, and I can't wait to play against press and just show the world what I can do.
I think the other thing is, from a slot perspective, all these teams want to play these two high coverages, quarters coverages. Okay, let's make the safeties run. Exactly. And if you run really fast, then you can make these safeties cover. I have this pet theory. I want to know what you think of this. Okay. That slot receivers, if teams are going to live in this too high world, that slot receiver is going to become an essential part of offenses, especially a slot that can get vertical. Presumably that's part of your pitch to these teams, like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah. Just with a slot receiver, you have to utilize them. You know what I'm saying? With too high coverages, where they go mitts, they go, quarters, man, two-man. You got to move the safeties. If you don't move the safeties, they can pack the box easier for run defenses. Your run game won't go nowhere. But at the same time, if you move your safeties with your slot, you get him in space. You make because if you have linebackers guarding them, they can't guard slots. They're too quick, too fast, too explosive. So Hype does a great job. Coach Hype does a great job as far as what we do on offense, as far as how we match ups, as far as how we utilize our slots and make sure the safeties can it makes it hard for them. And at the same time, it makes it easier for outside receivers as well. Then they get the one-on-one matchups that they want. They don't have to worry about over-top safeties. So it makes everything easier. That's how we try to do it, try to spread it, try to make it, more of a one-on-one game, like a backyard football game. Because at the end of the day, that's really what it is. If you, football, you don't make it so hard, as far as when you go out there. Just make it seem like it's more relaxed, 7-on-7 game. And if you go out there with that mindset, it makes it way more easier. So that's what we do.
Like watching you, it seems like you have fun. It seems like it'd be really fun to be that fast. Yeah. Is it as fun as it looks?
It's very fun. This game, man, is everything for me, everything to me, and it's just fun just going out there and just competing against the best. I think that's what we all want to do as far as the league competitors, and I want to go against the best. Sometimes, you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose, and that's the best thing about it, though. Even if I lose a rep, even if I lose a one-on-one matchup, I learn from it, I grow from it, and next time I have the same opportunity, I'll try to take, advantage of it. So there's a lot of things to this game that I love about it, even win, lose, or draw, and just to take the information from it, and just seeing in the film room what I can do better, and a lot of things that growth that I have to do that I know I can do, and man, I'm just blessed for the opportunity.
So it sounds like you embrace the work.
Oh yeah, I love the work. That's why I'm here today. Sophomore year had like 200 yards, 2 TDs. Nobody knew my name, and vacation, everybody went home, and I stayed in Knoxville. I stayed putting in work, stayed on the field, stayed grinding, because I knew this is I have more in me. I have more for me, and I know God had blessed me with a lot of things for me as far as speed and as far as everything, and I'm just glad to utilize it on the field and just become the best player I can be.
Are you going to run at the combine? Is that your goal?
Yes, sir.
What are we? Is there going to be a 2 in that second digit? Like what are we looking at here?
Yeah, man, we're trying to go for a 4.29. 4.29 for sure. That's the number we want. 4.29.
All right, the last thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is just like one of those beautiful things. Name, image, and likeness has changed college football in a lot of ways. Jalin Hyatt, okay, we got an easy one. This is a layup.
Yeah, this is easy.
But you produced, and so you locked it down. Tell me about what you're doing with Hyatt.
Yeah, word of Hyatt. We have a great partnership now. Took the whole season to do it, and with them, they, it took a little longer because they just want to know the person I am. Am I good on social media? Is he a bad person? Is he a good person? Does he care about people? A lot of background checks, and that's what I really respect about them. And not only that, what they have done for my teammates' families, as far as at the hotel for bowl games, because everybody knows how difficult it is, going to a big city and trying to take your whole family to a hotel just for, a week or something. It's expensive. It's expensive, very expensive. And how they helped us and helped my teammates' families, and it's just amazing. And we all had a great time up there. And that's something that I'll never forget. And hopefully we can keep going with this partnership long term.
I have to ask you this because I also cover the Packers. And so, Aaron Rodgers, historic franchise. Like, what would that opportunity be like if they were the ones that called your name?
Green Bay is historic. That's a place that Lambeau Field that I want to play in. It's a place that I probably will play in one day. And just with Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't want to play with Aaron Rodgers? Guy is consistent, guy is accurate, and at the same time, they have young receivers there now that I know I can learn from, that I know I can grow from, and not only that, it's just a great place to be, and a lot of Green Bay Packers that I know, fans, and it's a place where it's historic, and that's one of the places I want to be at for sure.
A lot of Bulldogs on that team too. You and Christian Watson, you guys might be the fastest. If you two on the field together, like that's like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle stuff.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's what we want to do. If they ever took the chance on me and wanted me to be there, man, they're gonna get my all. They're gonna get a hard worker. They're gonna get a perfectionist, and that's what I want to do. And I want to contribute to the team as fast as possible. So that's the type of player they're getting for sure.
Good luck, Jalin. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We're going to finish up here, but today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The only app you need on Super Bowl Sunday is FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the #1 sportsbook in America, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They've got so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. What's really fun about FanDuel is they have made every game like Super Bowl Sunday with the props, like anytime touchdown scores. That used to be a Super Bowl thing. Or first touchdown score. That used to be a Super Bowl thing. It only used to be the Super Bowl that you had these kinds of props for. Now it's every game. And guess what? If you're used to doing it, that should make the Super Bowl even easier. Like I've been doing same game parlays now for a year or more. And so I have a feel for how these things work, how the, FanDuel line setters like to set these things. So I feel like I have a better feel for this coming up on Super Bowl Sunday for Super Bowl 57. And you can get a no sweat first bet if you're new to FanDuel to get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. You get paid. FanDuel Sportsbook is safe, secure, and super easy to use. So join FanDuel today at FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no sweat first bet on Super Bowl 57. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
I am here with Pepsi Rookie of the Year, Aidan Hutchinson, Detroit Lions, defensive end, outside linebacker, pass rusher, wherever you want to line him up. He is going to go hunt the quarterback.
Hell yeah.
And you are holding a big, heavy trophy.
Yep.
Tell me about Pepsi Zero Sugar.
I'm actually partnering up with Pepsi Zero Sugar and Carnival Cruises, and they're gifting me a cruise for this offseason and to go with a +1. So that's going to be freaking awesome. But the award in and of itself is so amazing. The fans voted for this, and I just want to give a thank you to all the fans out there, man, who voted for me and put in their time and to get me this award. So I'm so blessed, and I felt like I did things on the field to get me this award too. So I'm grateful.
You had some rare statistics.
I'm putting it down.
I love it. You had some rare statistical achievements this year. A couple of interceptions,
yeah.
Of course, a bunch of sacks. As a defender, what's the best of those? Forced fumble, interception. What feels the best? Sack fumble's pretty good.
I would say sack fumble, but the interception is a different feeling. It's a different kind of feeling. I never had an interception before this year, so it was amazing. I'd say interception is one of the coolest feelings, but sacks is one of the most gratifying.
Wait, are you telling me your first ever interception was that Aaron Rodgers?
First ever against Aaron Rodgers. Yep.
What was did you get to the sideline and go, oh my God, that just happened?
I didn't even know what happened. I honestly, I'm still processing it. I can't believe I have an interception against Aaron Rodgers. It's wild.
What it seemed like in the second half, offensively you guys took off.
Yeah.
But defensively, I think kind of quietly, you guys locked in a little bit. It was some rookies getting the job done, especially rushing the passer. And then, in that Week 18 game at Lambeau Field, that was maybe your best defensive performance of the season. What changed for you guys?
We're a young team, and we're growing up throughout the whole season. And by the end of it, it was like we were hitting that point, that peak with all our performances, and we were all firing on the same cylinder. So it was great.
What is Dan Campbell? We know that the tough guy stuff, the rah-rah stuff, the run through a wall stuff. What can you tell me about Dan Campbell that might surprise me?
What you see is what you get with Dan Campbell. It's pretty.
That does not surprise me.
It's legit. It's legit. That's Hard Knocks Dan Campbell. That's Dan Campbell for you. He's like that every single day. That same intensity.
Last thing, what is it going to take for Detroit to get over the hump and get into? Could have been a playoff team this year, pretty close to getting there. What is it going to take to get to that next level?
Consistency. We showed we were a playoff team this year. Didn't make it in. We got to do it the whole season next year, and we'll get in. No, we should.
All right. Thanks, Aidan.
Thanks.
All right, we've got more from Radio Row coming. More coming. We've got interviews. Marshall Newhouse, Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Marshall Newhouse, Carson Palmer, who his agent used to be David Dunn. Aaron Rodgers' agent is David Dunn. A very similar situation in Cincinnati where he kind of forced his way out of there. I asked him what he sees as the similarities there and what it's like to get older as a quarterback. What ultimately made him decide to hang it up. That's coming up on Locked On Packers. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes. Wherever you get podcasts, you'll find Locked On Packers. And anytime you want to come hang out with us live, you can do that on our YouTube page with the Locked On Packers podcast to stay Locked On Packers.